All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Weighing In Podcast. We got a special guest today, man. Someone who's not always on my side, and I wasn't always on his side at times. And we've had a little bit banter back and forth. But, man, the former bantamweight champion, Aljamain Sterling, and the current featherweight ranked number 5 fighter in the world, my man. Thanks for joining the show today, bro. We got some things to hash out first before we get moving on to any other things. But I just got to pull this up because I gave you a bunch of shit about, I thought it was an acting job, the Petr Yan fight. You win the title, and you just came at me, which I understand why. I get it. I understand why fighters are that. I was one. I used to hate it when media would talk shit. I became that person that I hated. So I want to throw this out here. This is what you sent me in my DMs straight up. After I said no, I felt like there was some acting going on, and you sent me this, and I thought it was funny. At the very end, it says, "Suck my dick, pussy."
little New York lingo right there.
Brother, hey man, I ain't mad at you. I get it. I understand. But I had to show that, man. I had to show that. I thought that was great. I sent you another message after this, obviously reaching out for this. And I said, hey man, are you still mad at me, bro? Can we do a show together? And you were very kind, man. Very kind. I'm sure I was expecting more choice words from you, but brother, man, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for joining me.
No problem. I was a little confused when you and McCarthy were doing your bits and your takes, and I was just like, from a fighter's perspective, I feel like you would have understood, and then I feel like from a Russ perspective, who's, from what I know, he hasn't fought, so it's just like commenting on something that you actually don't have any experience in being in that position was a little odd to me and off-putting. And it's okay to have an opinion. I just feel like the way it was done was kind of was just a little. I felt a little disrespectful, and I felt like there was no way I was just gonna not say anything. Well, and I see McCarthy all the time. I don't really say much to him because I'm like, not everyone's gonna like you, and I don't really give a shit. It's I don't have to be everyone's cup of tea. What's for me is for me, kind of a thing. And I understood why people thought it looked like I was acting. I even said to myself after watching, I was like, I can get why people could come up with that conclusion. I was like, but I don't think you've ever been dead, exhausted, tired, looking down at the ground, trying to breathe, and then getting belted in the head by a freaking assassin. And I don't know. So I was like, if I fake throwing up in my hotel room, in my house, I don't really know how I can really act that out. But it is what it is.
My take on it was I felt there was a little bit of acting. I was not in any way disrespecting the fact that, look, you took a knee. It was an illegal knee, and there should have either been given a lot more time or just the fight should have been called and you won the fight. That was not my argument at all. I was like, look, it was 100% an illegal knee. There's nothing we could do about that. I was not discredit. I was like, I don't think he should fight when you take a knee like that. Okay. Because obviously you're getting tired. The fight, what were you in the 4th round? We're going in that was the 4th round.
Yeah. It was like a minute and a half left in the 4th round. I had a really bad rehydration. And that's really why I faded so fast in that fight. I was like, dude, there's no reason I should be this tired, but we figured it out afterwards. And that's why the second fight was so much different. I know McCarthy felt like the fight should have been ruled a no contest or however, but I don't think Mark Smith did a bad job of handling the fight. I mean, you tell a guy 3 times that the opponent is down and he still proceeds to knee the guy in the head illegally. His corner tells him only punches, and then one guy is like, that's kind of on you, So it gets to a certain point. Like, I get where McCarthy's coming from, but I was like, at what point do we penalize guys for breaking the rules? And now it's nice to see how guys are eye-poking people or grabbing the fence, and they're starting to take away points a lot faster than giving 5 warnings, So if we ain't going to enforce the rules, shit, I'm going to start fucking taking advantage of it. Why not? If it's like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying at this point. So,
yeah, the veterans, man, they've learned how to work the system. There's guys that were working on the 3-point system, right? 1 knee up, 1 knee down. I mean, fighters have kind of, like Mokaev, I feel like kind of got released because of that. Like doing the whole squat sitting position, touching the fingers. I'm sure there was other reasons on why he was released, but, being one of the guys he was a very talented fighter, but then also too, just playing that game. The UFC doesn't like that. You're either fighting or you're not, but then veteran fighters learn to work the system. In your case, you got blasted, man.
So.
What's that?
I'm glad they changed it to
Yeah.
you gotta put a damn knee down. Because
Yep.
even for me, I'm like, yeah, I think this rule is stupid. Even as a wrestler, I always thought it was stupid.
Yeah, John and I got into it several times on the show about the whole like grabbing the fence, because grabbing the fence is a legit, like, you're fucking doing it. Like that's the thing. Like you as soon as you grab it, and if it's more than a second, like, you need to let it go. And some guys are, if the ref has time to come over and get your hand off of it, like slap your hand off of it, like, you knew what you were doing, and there should be a point automatically taken from that. Because it's
I
exhausting. This is exhausting trying to get someone down. You've lifted them and they're holding the fence. It takes you so much energy to get them off the ground, and you don't get the takedown.
Yeah, and there was a situation like that recently with the Baja Mondays fight in Musafayev, I think his name is Tofik. Really good fighter, both guys, and who knows, that cage grab potentially could have changed the outcome of that fight if he had gotten on top.
Yeah.
And the fight went completely the other way after the fence grab. So it's like people who don't fight. So McCarthy on that hand, you don't really get it until you're actually in there training and doing it at a high level and competing at a high level, and then realizing anxiety plus the weight cut plus everything on top of it. Now you're not fighting with shin guards. You got no protection. When you give your all to something and you don't get it because someone bent the rules and they just get a slap on the wrist or nothing happens at all, it's a game changer. And those small little details and small little moments in a fight can really dictate the pace of a fight and change the outcome.
Going back on that, after hearing like my comments, hearing John's comments and other people's comments as well about the acting and this and that, I mean, like, was there something that you want people to understand about that situation that you just have never been able to explain properly? Or how do you think people misunderstood it on how it all went down? Like, if I'm at home watching as a casual fan, right, I'm like, they're misunderstanding all the things that you just explained. They're thinking, he just quit.
Well, they think I went home and partied because I had about 20, 25 people at my house that flew in from Long Island and California and Florida, and they all came to see me, and then that shitty turnout of a fight from me, and then getting kneed in the head, and they're trying to cheer me up, and somehow it turns into, oh, he's out there partying, and he must have been acting, that's the only part that's a little annoying. The rest of it is like, hey, you guys can think whatever you want to think. If you want to say like I could have continued, I could have continued if they gave me more time. The ref saved me from myself. Just because I could continue doesn't mean it was the smart thing to do. So that fight wasn't going to get any better for me, and getting a knee like that from that guy, you go take a knee from that guy and let me know if you can continue. Yeah. And under the same circumstances, you don't see, you get blindsided. And dude, all I can think is I just need to lay here and breathe and try to recover as best as I can. And I'm just glad we got to run it back and people could see the night and day. If you haven't watched my fights, to see me get tired during round one is just like something should let you know something is off. And again, it was the weight rehydration. It just wasn't a good one. I didn't anticipate the time frame that I was going to be fighting, and I just didn't feel my body the right way. It felt like I was still cutting weight, and people can call it excuses all you want. It's like, but you can look at the performances and go, well, something's not adding up. There's some truth to it. And then in the rematch, you can see night and day from the performance. So
what was that something when, like, I know I was going to ask you this, like, did you think to yourself, man, this after the second, like, fuck Josh, see, I did, like, did you think like, fuck
you guys
Josh?
always counting me out? So, I mean, the whole world counted me out. I'm like, dude, I feel like I went on this win streak. I beat 3 top 5 contenders, and then all of a sudden everyone just thinks I'm shit. I'm like, I'm confused.
Saturday mornings used to mean coffee and sidelines. Now it's game time for all of us. We're running drills, chasing goals, and trying to keep up with each other. Soccer, lacrosse, doesn't matter. What matters is we're doing it together. But here's the thing I didn't expect. Training with your kids, it hits different. You sweat more, you push harder. If you're not careful, you could bring yourself out. That's why I started bringing LMNT. No sugar, no junk, just electrolyte. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, so you can stay sharp, stay moving, and stay in the game. Because when your kids look over and say, come on, Dad, keep up, you don't want to sit this one out. You want to be right there with them. Hydration isn't just about performance. It's about showing up. For them, for yourself, for moments like this. LMNT.
Say something.
And I was trying to tell people and explain to them, like, bro, I'm telling you right now, bet the house on me. Because I felt when we fought the first time, if I had felt like I normally did, I swear, all my life, he doesn't make it past round 2. I legitimately think I could have gotten him out there. As easy as that takedown was in round 1 that I was able to get, I think he was more prepared the second time than he was in the first fight. And I was so mad about that because he did better in the second fight, although I fought better as well, but he did better in terms of his preparation. And I was like, wow, this guy actually really, really took his time to do his homework. The first fight, I felt like he wasn't that fast. I felt like I was able to land whenever I wanted to land. And for me to get that lazy ass takedown, and he was throwing me all over the place, and I was slipping and falling. And I'm like, bro, he tried to do it in the second fight. It didn't work. So, I've always been an honest guy. I've never like sit here try to give people like wolf tickets and shit. Like I legitimately try to tell people, I'm telling you, if you wanna cash out, trust me, I'm telling you, like I when I really believe I can win, I express it, so if you like to make money, who to do it.
Like most people don't realize that cutting weight is a science. There's a science behind it, man. And if you're just off by a tiny
is a science.
If you're off by a tiny bit, it doesn't matter. It could be a liter of water. It could just be like a little bit of rest that night. You couldn't get it, whatever it is. People don't realize when you get done making weight, you go home, you have to slowly eat. You have to slowly rehydrate. You can't just down it all and just think it's going to get back on. It doesn't work that way. And then also too, your rest that night at the night before the fight is not the best always. That's why it's nice to kind of rest throughout the day as well, leading up to the fight. I mean, what happened that day that was different from the second fight?
Well, the first fight, I couldn't sleep on fight day. I felt great in the morning. The shakeout was amazing. I always feel good in the morning because I ate so much the night before. So I felt good in the morning. And then we did like, I believe, a 25-minute workout and basically sparring. We sparred. And I felt like I'm about to set the world on fire. And this guy has no idea what's coming. This storm is about to be something magnificent. And I couldn't take a nap afterwards because my body was still asking for more food. And I used the PI's breakfast and I thought that I was fighting earlier in the day. So I thought I was going to eat too much. And then when I realized I was fighting like 4 or 5 hours later, it was too late. Yeah. And it's the silliest thing to say out loud, but I literally ate 2 small pancakes, like the mini pancakes, and 2 eggs. And that was my fuel after a hard weight cut and after a 25-minute shakeout. That's what I ate. And trying to take a nap afterwards, I couldn't, which I normally do. And I felt like something was just wrong from that moment. And I couldn't figure it out. I was like, am I actually nervous? It's like, I get nervous, but not like that. And that just let me know something was just really off. So I always tell these guys, even these guys who are fighting, I always check, like, make sure you get your carbs. You need that. You have to replenish those that glycogen storage. And I never really paid attention to it that much at a scientific level till now because I just eat. And then I realized, like, oh, I didn't. The one time, my biggest moment in my career that I should have paid attention, I didn't. And it cost me. But at the same time, I end up, in hindsight's 2020, it ended up working out in the long run. Because I got to get the rematch and I got to do it the right way and win a couple more fights after that to defend the belt.
What are some of the lessons you learned on your way winning to the, like, headed to the title to win the title? And then what were some of the lessons you learned, like, losing the title?
On my way to winning the title?
Like, because the way you won it, with obviously getting fucking backlash from me and other guys out there. And then, like, God damn, like, these guys are supposed to be on my team. We're this kind of thing. I understood where you're coming from with that. That's one thing I try to do is I try to relate with the fighters. I get where you're coming from, Look, I never wanted to discredit you as a fighter because you're very fucking talented. There's no doubt about that. Okay. I just, at the moment, I thought there was some acting involved. And I'm telling you now, I thought there was acting involved. Do I think that you should have continued? No. I think you should have taken the fucking title and run and then got the rematch and do what you did. That honestly is how every fighter should take it. Like, if I get blasted in the knee, you should be you should be either taking your full 5 minutes and recovering or taking your title or getting the win, however it is, taking the DQ, because that's cheating. 100%. I don't want someone keeping the title just because they feel like they're losing and then blast a knee and then get the title back. It doesn't work that way either. So that was my take on it all. But what did you learn hearing people like me say those things? And then, obviously when you did lose the title to Sean, what was the take on that? Like, how did you feel after that? What was any lessons you learned from that?
I mean, when I got to fight again for the belt and defend it for the first time against Jan, I got to prove to myself that I wasn't crazy, because the whole world thought I was delusional. And I'm like, dude, I can only tell you how I honestly felt. And if you want to believe it, sure. If not, bet your money on the other guy. You're going to be really, really sad. And that's exactly what happened. And there's no humbleness about that whatsoever, because I don't give a shit. It was so interesting to see how I go from beating my third top 5 guy in Corey Sandhagen, the next coming of Moses, and I run through him like a buzzsaw. And somehow I go from the people's uncrowned champ, because we were ranked 3 and 4. We were the 2 highest ranked guys. Somehow Petr Yan fights for a title after beating Uriah Faber, and Jose Aldo, coming off of a split decision loss, got to fight for the vacant title. So everyone recognized us as the uncrowned champ, and it should have been for the title shot. And imagine how that fight would have been, how people would have perceived me if that was the right thing that was done. Things would look so different now in terms of the perception of how people looked at me into my title run and everything. But hindsight's 2020, and here we are. And I realize how fast things can change with the fan base. So it's like, I take it with a grain of salt. My true supporters, like, I always got love for those guys, and the haters, keep it coming, because it just fuels me and motivates me. And all that's just noise. And then with the O'Malley thing, I just realized the biggest lesson is you fight on your terms. Don't let someone coerce you into taking fights, even if they're supposed to have a title that's supposed to be looking out for your best interests in terms of your fiduciary duties. And I learned no one's going to have your back like you are, so big lessons learned. And I know I would never make that mistake again. And of course, I'm on my way out, right? Let me not say it like that, but I'm at the tail end of my career, I should say. I still think I got one title run left in me at 45. Arguably should have won that fight with Mozart, whatever, razor close, maybe a draw possibly, if no one thought that, whatever. I thought that was probably the fairest way to do it. And after that, I don't know how many more fights are after winning the belt, or, if things don't go my way with Yusuf, how many more fights I got left. I'm taking one fight at a time. So, but I learned to fight on my terms when I'm ready, when I actually want to be in there. The O'Malley fight, I sold the fight thinking it was going to be a big cash out after I finally said yes. And when I got in there, I thought I could Jedi mind trick myself to wanting to be in there. And I felt like it was a bad dream from the moment I got into the cage, my walkout, everything. And it just felt off. Nothing felt right that night. And I had a great camp, so to speak. It was short because I couldn't really train because I was injured coming in, because I just fought Henry. And Sean did what he was supposed to do. He fought a great fight for himself, capitalized on my mistakes. And I even thought after the first round, I was like, dude, I just want to go home. And I told my coaches, I was like, I'm going to just press and try to get him out of there. And I just want to be done. And sure enough, as I press, I gave a position through a really bad telegraph shot with the right hand. And I typically would get away with that. Like I would move my head afterwards, or at least pull back. And I threw it and I saw it, and I was just like, if time just froze, and I was like, it was at that very moment. I just saw the right hand. I was like, yeah, the one thing I said not to do, I literally just did it. And that was just like, I was like, that was literally his one shot and one way of winning. I was like, other than that, the fight, my game plan was to make it a boring fight, just control him, slow him down, and just go home and just be done with this. And I did them their favor, whatever. And I did them the favor, but at the end of the day, I lost. So
you brought something up that's always kind of bugged me about guys that, not just UFC, even other guys in other promotions too, some guys get fast tracked. And if you're the champ at the top, not to take anything away from Sean O'Malley, but other fighters that have got to come up too, is like they get fast tracked to the title, and now you're the champion going, man, I really got to fight this guy. He hasn't really earned it. Do you feel like there's a little bit of a lack of motivation to fight that guy? You feel there's not that they don't inspire you. You haven't seen them put the work in yet. And I don't know about you, but I got motivated by fighting the guys that were dogs. I wanted to fight the toughest fights I could find. And there was times where they offered me guys. I'm like, this guy he's got 2 fights, man. Like, why am I'm the number 3 guy in the world right now. Why are you offering me this guy? He's got 2 fights in the UFC, you know? And so those are things that, do you feel that there was some of that?
Yes and no. Like, if I'm being 100% honest, I wasn't thrilled to fight him because I was like, dude, you're literally Dana's pet. Like, respectfully, like I like Sean. People are gonna think like, oh, he's still salty. I'm like, no. In perspective, retrospect from back then, I'm looking at him from my point of view, and I'm going, dude, this guy's literally been handed every opportunity to look as good as he have, and I can't be mad at it. Good for him. He's the one they want to promote. Good. I can't say that's the wrong guy to promote. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. It's their company. He got a fight with Jan. He won a very close fight. I thought it went the other way, and I went back and forth from that fight multiple times. And then when I watched it again the last time, I said, I think maybe Jan should have won it, or it should have just been a draw. But we don't get those. With that said, he earned a shot. So he earned the title. I just think the timing was what was really fucked up for me. And people's scapegoat to avoid that true fact is, oh, well, he injured his ribs coming into the fight. I go, well, he had 11 months off. When he fought Jan, we both fought in Abu Dhabi. I fought TJ. He fought Jan. I had to turn around and fight Henry with a torn bicep tendon, partially torn. I had to get stem cells. Like, the hoops that I had to jump to just to make the fight for the fans and that turnaround of a time, and it cut 35 pounds again. Like, I just wish the fans would give me a little bit more credit in terms of trying to make the fight for what they wanted, even though it wasn't something that I wanted, right? But at the end of the day, I made my bed. I got to sleep in it. People are gonna get fast track. I get motivated from fighting the bigger names. Like, that's what excites me. I always wanted to fight Volkanovski. I always wanted to fight Max Holloway. As I was coming up, and I realized, like, oh, I can actually be that guy. And then when I finally realized I am finally that guy, like, those were the names that excited me. Not fighting these up and comers who had 1 or 2 fights and looking at it like, well, you expect me to get out of bed in early mornings and go through the grinder to go fight this guy. There's nothing about it that excites me other than, yeah, he could be a tough dude. And for O'Malley, it wasn't that he didn't earn it or he wasn't a tough dude. I always knew he was skilled. I sung his praises and gave him a lot of props since the Contender Series. It was just one of those things where I was like, yo, the timing of this. I literally had trying to get a wedding planned. I thought I was going on vacation, get some time to, like, decompress, let my body settle, not have to think about cutting 30 plus pounds again. You know, so there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that fighters do for the fans. And yeah, you get the crazy, silly fans that go, well, nobody told you to do it. You could go get a 9-5. And I go, bro, what do you want? Damned if we do, damned if we don't. Then who's gonna compete? Who's gonna put on the shows for you guys to watch for your entertainment? You can say my fight's not the most entertaining. Okay, but at the end of the day, we're all still doing this. So give us a little bit of credit, a little bit of respect for the shit that we got to go through. O'Malley had broken or torn cartilage or broken ribs coming into my fight with me. Like, the stuff we do to get to the fight that people don't know about till afterwards. And it's like, it's so easy for people to just turn their back on you and throw it in your face and then write you off or say you're trash and say you're washed. And it's easy to disrespect. And it's you know, I will never understand that mentality with people. Like, even before I was a fighter, I was just never that guy to just shit on professionals at their game. Like, I don't come to your job and tell you you do a shit job. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I guarantee you're not top 5 or top 10 in the world at what you do for a living.
No.
So give us a little bit of fucking credit. Like, sometimes you're gonna have a bad day in the office. That's all I'm saying. It's not like, it's not whining, it's not complaining. These are just, I like to think I speak factual things that most of us want to say or think, and I'm just not afraid to say it. Maybe that's maybe that's why I get so much backlash, because I speak my fucking mind.
You could walk into any IT company and be like, yo, there's a dude in India doing this way better than you.
Way better than you.
Way better than you.
How about you give him the raise and you get a pay cut?
Yeah, right?
You don't deserve to get paid more. You're not that into, like, what are we talking about? Like, who does that? You tear down someone else that's trying to make a living. Like, no one's coming to your job and doing shit like that. And when you think about it like that, it puts it into perspective. Like, if you want to take the piss, take the piss. Like, I can take a joke, But when you're saying shit like that, that's not a joke. You're trying to be malicious. This is a very different intent.
What people don't understand is that you're fighting on two sides, because my fight career is somewhat similar to yours in this perspective, is that the UFC, when I came over from Strikeforce, all I heard was Cowboy Cerrone and Josh Thomson would be the fight. Anthony Pettis and Josh Thompson's the fight to make. And then I get there, was never offered those guys. Ever. I mean, the Pettis one was offered to me and then taken from me, right? I was supposed to fight Pettis for the title after I beat Nate, and they never gave it to me. They just basically he got put on the Wheaties box, and all of a sudden he got hurt and he was out. And then as soon as I lost, they brought him back. It was one of those situations, right? And so I know exactly what you're going through, man. I know the frustration. And it did. Like,
I wish there was a rhyme or reason. Like, I know O'Malley did it well, and I keep using him because he's a perfect and easy example to use. Like, came in with the curly hair, skinny, scrawny kid coming in on Dana White Contender Series, smokes weed, Snoop Dogg's hyping him up. O'Malley, oh my God, Sugar O'Malley. Like, that does wonders for anyone's career. And then on top of it, he gets a highlight reel knockout that goes viral, and they post it over and over. And I go, how hard is it to give other fighters that opportunity to hype them up a little bit and to give them a chance? Not saying they're all going to pan out, but give them a chance to promote them. They like Hoken. People call him cringy. I like it. I find it entertaining. But there's going to be a market for every individual. Like, everyone is different and got their own space. Like, some people are quiet. They don't say much. It's going to be hard to market them, but highlight the things that they do outside the octagon, whether it was like with kids or community service or things like that. It goes a long way. And I don't think it costs them anything to make a couple of posts to highlight. I mean, I'm not saying send in a whole production team that you do for the UFC Countdown, but I don't think it's hard to get like an embedded guy to come out and film and highlight some of these great things that some of these guys are doing outside of the octagon. That's just my 2 cents. And again, like, I speak from experience, and I speak from an honest standpoint. Like, I would just never get it. I would just never get it.
I understand the frustration, though. I know exactly where you're coming from, especially, you know, after you lost to O'Malley. I was like, I get it, man, because like you don't know what they're going to do with you next. I don't know what fights were offered to you.
Only chance in hell that they knew he had the best chance of beating me.
You know?
And again, I like the guy. He's talented, but that was lightning in a fucking bottle. And that's the only thing that's like, if I could get that back, because he rubs it in my face. He's a sore sportsmanship, bro.
He's a sore winner. What a jerk.
So sometimes I'm like, when he says the shit he says, I'm like, I regret giving you that opportunity. Yeah. Because I could have just stuck to my guns. You know, I said no 5 times. And when he does that, I'm just like, you're an idiot for giving this guy a chance. That is not the guy you want to lose to. Just not the guy. Like, I don't do dickhead shit like that, you know? So it's just like, I don't know. I'm a different kind of cat. I like to make fun and do all these silly, goofy things before the fight. But then after the fight's over, it's like, it is what it is, you know?
Did you feel any redemption, though?
Like a sore winner. Like, it's hard to just be quiet. It's hard to be quiet.
Did you feel any redemption when your boy got it back twice? When Rob got it back twice?
I don't want to say redemption. I just got the validation that what should have happened in our fight. And Rob and I train with each other every day. So he'll be the first to tell you, like, he's just like, brother, I can't believe how lucky he got. And he'll tell me, I'm just like, don't remind me. Just don't remind me. I don't need a reminder. I get to hear his podcast clips where he's talking shit. I'm just like, I don't need a reminder again. It is what it is.
Fucking Sugar, he's a fucking sore loser, a sore winner.
Yeah, like, I defended 3 and he defended 1. So
yeah,
I got that.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Yusuf Zalal, man. I mean, this is a tough opponent. Actually, you know, was cut from the UFC, brought back to the UFC. He's on a win streak right now. He's doing really well. He's had a great armbar finish over Josh Emmett. Beat Calvin Kattar. He kind of beat him pretty easily, I would say, handily. You know, and then he's filling his oats right now. When you look at him, and you take a look at other guys.
I don't know what.
He's feeling his oats right now. He's feeling like he's got this, man. I feel like every time I see his interviews, he's like, man, I'm the best I've ever been. I know fighters talk like this all the time, but I've got something he's never seen. My movement, my speed, like I see all these things. So
yeah, I sold that shit for the O'Malley fight, and look what that happened. Look what happened with that. Like we all say shit like that, even if we know it's not to be true. But yeah, I can say he's feeling his oats, as we said, as you guys said.
He's feeling his oats.
He's feeling himself a little bit for sure. That's good. He's got momentum. He's a lot younger than me right now, and he's got a big finish over a scary dude in Josh Emmett, who's sent a lot of people to the gulags, flatlined, and he made it look easy. So I know he's gotten a lot better. He's a lot more patient, takes his time. He's got a great educated jab, great calf kick, dangerous with that stepping knee. He had a close fight with Jack Shore until he landed that knee, and was able to submit him, hurt him, dropped him, and then submit him. And it's going to be a tough test. I think the one fight that I got to get a really good read on was his fight with Cater. And if I'm going by his fight with Cater and my fight with Cater, I like to think mine was a little bit more dominant in a different way. His was still dominant, but in a different way, especially in that third round. So I got my work cut out for me, but we got some stuff that we've been working on. And at the end of the day, like I know what his biggest weapons are. He's got great footwork. So I know I'm going to have to track him down unless his game plan is to think I have no punching power and he decides to stand in the pocket and trade with me. I would love that. I would actually welcome that.
Why is that? Why is that? Because the easiest path, obviously, for victory for you is get this fight to the ground, strangle him. Like you find your way to everyone's back at some point in a fight.
I just think the power that he thinks that if he's thinking like this, the power that he may think I don't have would be a very big eye opener and could potentially be my first chance of getting a legitimate KO other than a TKO. And with my hands and not like a knee, like knees and spinning elbows and shit like that. That's like fancy shit. I'm just talking like I think he would be really surprised at how hard I actually punch at this weight class now.
Why do you say that? Do you feel like there's a difference in your power from 35 to 45?
Oh, for sure. I think just my technique is overall better. I sit on my punches a little bit better. And the thing about Yusuf is he moves so well, so I won't be able to land such a clean shot. I'm going to have to corral him to the cage. Again, unless he comes forward. And if he comes forward, it'll be interesting to see what his techniques is going to be. I know he's going to come forward looking to step in with a knee. And we're ready for all the possibilities, so to speak. So we'll see what his game plan is. I'm just curious if he's going to be more the matador or if he's going to try to be the bull, because he might think I don't have the knockout power like a Cater or a Taporia or a headhunter like a Billy Q. And I'd like to think I'm a little bit more diverse in my attacks. So this is gonna be a high level chess match. Like Yusuf is fucking good, and I'm excited to show him that it's just not his time yet.
When they brought him to you though, when they were like, "Hey, we want you to fight Yusuf," like, was there something in your mind going like, "Look, man, I'm only looking to fight like Diego, Lerone, like guys in the top 3 or 4. Like I'm 36 years old. I've got something I got to prove to myself. I've got to get back to the title." They said Yusuf Zalal. What was your first thought?
I thought it was an awful fight. I was like, you got two elusive guys that are fighting each other. And I think now, even after my Ortega fight, people see that I'm a little bit more stationary, not as footwork heavy as I once was. Whether that's good or bad for this particular matchup, but wasn't too exciting in the beginning. And interesting enough, one of the matchmakers said they weren't going to make this fight last year around this same time, maybe in February or March. They said they weren't going to make the fight because it was an awful matchup because of our styles. And Yusuf and I happened to be together at Tough Enough watching the fights, and we're speaking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to make this fight. It's awful." And then we both agreed. I was like, because I'm not running into none of your shit. You're not running into none of my shit. So I was like, this fight's going to be probably a low output fight.
Styles and then make matchups.
Yeah, and then he goes and he beats Emmett, and here we are. Now it's the fight that they made. So I guess it's just one of those situations where they got to do something with both of us. So
do you feel like it benefits you because you're fighting in the smaller cage at the Apex?
I'm thinking, do I pull out the Corey Sandhagen playbook? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I had some high level success with that. Yusuf did submit me before. I submitted him a lot, but he did submit me before on a more recent occasion, coming off of vacation. And I told him like that would never happen again. You better enjoy that while you can. And we trained again after that, and I think he realized I meant what I said. So he's though, So I'm looking forward to the fight. I'm just excited for the opportunity. It's not the biggest name, but I've been a guy coming up and giving where guys have given me that chance, right? So here I am, and I'm willing to offer the opportunity. And God willing is my night. I could continue my quest to become a 2-division champion, and man, life would be so good, man. That's all I care about. I'm just here to make history. At the end of the day, people could say what they want, but numbers don't lie, stats don't lie, and the history can't be rewritten.
Let's move past this fight and let's talk about, like, obviously we're all believing that you're going to win this fight. Okay. We get past this win. Really, have you talked to the UFC about what's next? Like, hey, I deserve somebody in that 1-2 spot, or am I be able to jump the line and get to this title shot? I'm 36. I want to get this in now. Like, have you had those discussions?
Nah, I know Volk wants to fight me. Mm-hmm. It's a legacy fight, so hopefully I do my job, get it done, and then we'll have those conversations. The last time I looked ahead, I was sparked out cold, and that was with Marlon Moraes. I took that fight with him on short notice, and I think I watched like 1, maybe 2 of his fights, and I was just like, oh, he's a leg kicker. And I didn't pay attention to the small details like I normally do with other opponents because I'm riding a wave. I just beat Henan Barrow. I'm like, I just beat the former champ. That was the boogeyman for the division. So I'm feeling my oats now, So, and I'm over here like, dude, I'm about to be a champ this next fight. I'm about to run through Marlon, and then I'm fighting for a title. And then I go out there and get sparked out cold, and I'm just like, so I try not to do that, one step at a time. I do have ideas in my head. I could potentially have to fight one more time after this. But God willing, the fight goes really well. Maybe the stars aligned, and I get a chance to slide in there.
Who would you want to fight? You right now ahead of you is Yair, who I have no idea how he's still there. He fights once every 2 years. I'm being sarcastic a little bit, but he's not a very active fighter. Then you got Lerone Murphy coming off of his loss. Diego's coming off of his loss to Volk, and you got Mosvar, who, a very close fight. You're coming off the loss with him. I mean, you had the loss with him. You've got those two, probably him and Volk fighting for the title. Give me somebody in that mix. What happens now if they turn to you like, hey man, Pico looked good. Are you going to fight Pico next? Like, that's something you feel like. I feel like the UFC would be like, I feel like that's what they would do. You know what I mean? Like that's something they would do. And I'm thinking to myself, you deserve somebody in that Diego Lopez, Lerone that puts you right there, or you just fight the winner for the title next.
What's that mean with Dana where he's like, he looks off to the side and then he smiles and he looks back?
Right?
I'm gonna play this the PC way that I've been coached. Sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up, Aljo. Like,
so they offered you Pico.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm gonna say is, I will fight anyone that the UFC puts in front of me.
Smart.
But ideally,
just stop right there. Just leave it at that.
Perfect world, I would like to fight someone ranked higher than me that gets me closer to the title. I'll fight anyone that the UFC puts in front of me that gets me closer to the title. Preferably Yair or Lerone Murphy, because they're the 2 highest ranked guys. They're both cool as fuck, but I'm a bantamweight that's now at 45. I'm cool with all these guys. But I got to fight. I got to make money, and I got dreams too. So I'll fight anyone that gives me.
But there's someone in that mix. I mean, like there can be an argument made that if you get if you end up having an impressive performance against Zalal, there's an argument made like, look, Diego's fought twice. Mosvar, if you're fighting Volk, it'd be him coming off of the loss to Volk. And Yair he's also came up short against Volk also. You could just jump the line and be right there. Lerone's got to get a win before he can get there. There's an argument to be made that you get the next title shot.
Yeah, I agree. But not all logical math is logical in the business world.
In this business, right? Look, I tell people all the time, man, we love this sport, but the business side of it is shit.
It can get a little disheartening.
Yeah,
But you just gotta stay positive, do your best, and try to win as much as you can, and
I agree.
things work out for you.
I got a saying, man, that I started on this show. It says winning solves everything, man. It's
It
true.
does.
Like guys, it doesn't matter if you wrestled, because remember fighters like John Fitch and Marab, they didn't get any love, right?
John Fitch.
Yeah, it's like these guys, right? Like they just wrestle, keep getting these dudes they get no love. Eventually, you get your title shot if you keep winning, right? They can't keep denying you got 11, 12 wins in a row. You're like, hey,
What was his second win streak before he fought Hendricks? It was like 15 or something like that.
It was like, I think it was 13.
And he didn't get a second crack at the title.
No.
So I say this to say the UFC is going to do what the UFC wants to do. Hopefully you've done enough to put yourself in a position to get that nod, right? So that's my 2 cents for everyone coming up. And at the end of the day, this is the fight game, but it's also a business, and you have to treat it like that. Because if you don't, you're going to be in tears, saddened, pissed off at everybody, and you will resent this fucking sport. I tell you that from experience. And it took me a while to get my love back for it. And so far, so good, these past few fights. So
I would imagine not having to cut that much weight to fight helps also too, to keep the love. Like having to suck down that weight, like, man, you hate making the weight. I stayed at 55 my whole career, but now at 45, this is your walk around weight. Let me ask you this. I'm going to wrap you up on 2 more questions here. What motivates you right now, man, at 36?
Legacy. It's all about legacy. I'm trying to do something that's, it's one thing to become the champ, and then it's like, it seems like this unattainable thing. It's another thing to go on this ridiculous win streak. It seems like this unattainable thing. It's another thing to beat and set these records for the most wins in the division. Seems like an unattainable thing for a sport that's been around as long as it has, with all these greats and killers, right? And then there's money, of course. I got that. Like, I'm set, I'm secure, invested, did all the right things. I'm blessed that I own 5 homes, and
Shit.
and life's good. I drive a great car. The bank account's healthy. I got my investments. My wife is taken care of. Like, this is all icing on the cake, so that's why I'm not like pressed about anything. Like, if I don't get it, it's like, okay, I'll get them next time, so I'm still going to give it my all. Everything is icing on the cake. It's additional legacy. I don't want to be the guy who's sitting around losing 6, 7, 8 fights in a row. I'm not doing that. I'll be way gone before that. But I still think I can compete. And if I can keep defying Father Time and turning back the clock, I'm going to keep doing that shit and try to make as much money as I can, help out as much people as I can, and mentor these younger guys that we got coming up. And for me, that's what it's all about, giving back to the sport that gave me so much. And I've done that with wrestling. Now I'm doing that with MMA. And if I could win another belt, another championship, I think it just puts me up there in another stratosphere of just the elite of the elites.
When you walk away from this sport, like, what do you want people to look back at your career and be like, he did this or he did that? Like, what do you want them to be remembered by? Like, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as just a technician, really tried to do everything right, wasn't afraid to take chances, dared himself to step up, even in unfavorable circumstances, and never said no. No one can ever tell me that I said no to certain opponents and whatnot. And I think at the end of the day, that's something that could be commended and respected. Not always the smartest. Not always the smartest. I will say that for sure. Sometimes it's good to know where you're at in your career and understand your skills and limitations and know how to bring yourself along so you give yourself the best opportunities to win and develop and grow. Not biting off more than you can chew. And I've done that a few times, but luckily, I've gotten lucky and came up on the right side of things. But at the end of the day, I just think when people see me, see what I've done in the sport, my career, never said no, never backed down, took on all challengers for all the up-and-coming guys, even after tough losses. When I was counted out, never counted myself out. And I think that's a lesson that could be used for everyone across the world.
Oh, man, I want to thank you so much, man, for joining the show, man. I appreciate you. Hopefully we squashed our beef, hopefully. And next time I'm in Vegas, man, I'm going to roll through. Do you live in like Jersey area?
No, I'm from New York.
Okay, but do you live up there though, or do you live in Vegas full time?
No, I live in Vegas full time.
You live
I
in
still
Vegas
got my
full
house
time?
in New York though, so whenever I go back to the island, that's where we stay.
Okay. All right.
Mostly-
Next time I come out, we got to get some rounds in so you can get your redemption on me. Get that smash.
Sounds like a plan to me.
My man, I appreciate your time, man. I really do. And thanks, man. Hey, guys, don't miss it. April 25th at the Apex. You guys tune in. Make sure you guys watch the main event. Aljamain Sterling, Yusuf Zalah. Don't miss it. Enjoy this fight. And my man, any last words? Any sponsors you want to thank?
We got a promo discount going on my website right now, funkharborrum.com. I'm the actual owner of the brand and company. So if you guys want to check us out, love the support. Appreciate it. 2 bottles or more, you get 10, 15, or 20 or $30 off. So check us out and appreciate it. See you guys next week.
So there's no more fuck you pussy. My man, we're out, brother.